So in today's class, I'm not going to discuss any particular topic very deeply. It's a class on polity to let you know that how to prepare for this polity section or the polity paper. Okay. We all know that, see, polity is a very vast paper, isn't it? A lot of things, a lot of areas are included in the polity paper. So whenever we think about this polity paper, it sometimes it becomes very difficult for the candidates to go through the paper very thoroughly, okay, very deeply. And sometimes what happen is that uh, in this paper, in this polity paper, since there are uh, vast areas, there are many areas, but the point is that we should know that we are preparing for something, isn't it? We are preparing for a particular examination, isn't it? So to prepare, we need to prepare in that very manner so that we can crack it. Okay, gaining knowledge, knowing lot of things is indeed a very good thing. But whenever you prepare for any examination, you need to know the pattern. Okay, you need to know the pattern. You need to know the tips. Okay, to crack it. So so today's class is basically about polity paper, that how to cover those things so that you need not skip any questions in your examination coming from the polity section. Okay, so today in today's class, we are not going to discuss about any one particular topic, but I'm going to show you that, what are the areas, what are the topics which are mostly touched by the civil service examination. And we all know that recently the result that has been declared by APSC, it was an old pattern, isn't it? But in the upcoming examination, APSC is going to follow the UPSC pattern. So today I will show you some questions. It's like some demonstration so that you can know that to cover the polity paper deeply and thoroughly, what are the areas that you must touch. Okay, there are many areas in polity, but to crack the examination, so that you don't skip any questions from the polity section, you need to study the polity paper in a systematic manner. Okay. Wait. Okay. Uh, let's see. Try to divide the polity paper into various sections. Okay. Since we are going to study about Indian polity, so at first you must know the constitutional framework. Okay, the constitutional framework of India. Uh, Try to divide the sections from in Indian polity paper. At first, you try to study about the constitutional framework of India. You know why? Because in the previous years, questions have come from the section like, Government of India Act 1935, okay, or Government of India Act 1919, or from Parliamentary reforms. Okay, so these things to be covered, you need to have a thorough look on the constitutional framework of India. Okay, because there in the constitutional framework, you will get to know about those acts, or about the making of the constitution, that how the constitution was made, uh, how was the demand for the constituent assembly. Okay, in the historical background, you will get to know about the company rule, the crown rule. Okay, and there you will get those acts, isn't it? So uh, when you go into the historical background of the constitutional framework, then you will have to read about those acts, those important acts, such as the Government of India Act 1935, um, Montague Kemp's form, and then Parliamentary Reforms Act. Government of India Act 1919. So these were the most important acts, isn't it? So there you will see that there are many provisions, there were many principles in the act, and if there are 10 principles or 10 provisions there, then in your question I will show you that suppose diarchy was introduced by which act? Okay. So such things you will get to know when you uh, go through the constitutional framework of India. So in the constitutional framework of India, you will have to go through the historical background. Okay, then making of the constitution. Okay, I mean there were 7 members in the drafting committee, isn't it? So out of the 7 members, 3 members' name will be given, and one name who was not a member of the Constitution Assembly, his name will be given, and you will have to pick out that among which of the following members who was not the member of the drafting committee, isn't it? Okay. So then you will while preparing for the constitutional framework section, then you will have to read about about the characteristics of the constitution also, isn't it? Then you will have to then you will get to know about the preamble of the constitution, um, then the fundamental rights, directive principles of state policy. Okay, we all know that we have 6 fundamental rights, isn't it? And from the section of the fundamental right, you will get to know that um, see see the first question here. It came in 1995 that prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, etc. Article 15 of the Constitution of India is a fundamental right. Okay, classifiable under which right? You see the pattern of question. We all know that we have 6 fundamental rights, isn't it? We all know that what are the what are the main fundamental rights? We all know that right to equality, isn't it? Right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and then right to constitutional remedies. These are the 6. But in your question, uh, the rights which fall under the main headline, main category, uh, those those rights will be asked. For example, this one, the prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, a right to kuntu kuntu fundamental right or under a foreign. So that means this question is clearly reflecting that when you will study about right to equality, that is articles 14 to 18, you will need to memorize, or you will need to keep in mind about the 5 rights that fall under article 14 to 18 under the category of right to equality. ঠিক আছে যেনেকে article 14 under article 14 we know that there is equality before law and equal protection of laws, isn't it? So hey যেটো article 14 আছে, you will be asked that equality before law and equal protection of laws, this right falls under which fundamental right? So that is why you will have to remember all the rights, very systematically. The first one is right to equality, which is from Article 14 to 18, and what are those rights that fall under 14 to 18? ঠিক আছে. Next come right to freedom, which falls under Article 19 to 22, isn't it? So now you will have to remember that what are the rights under Articles 19 to 22. Just for example, protection of life and personal liberty. Okay, protection of life and personal liberty falls under Article 21, isn't it? But now the civil service examination will ask you that protection of life and personal liberty that falls under Article 21 is a fundamental right classifiable under which right? So we all know that this is right to freedom, isn't it? So this is the way that you need to you need to prepare. So at first, try to divide the polity paper into various sections. Firstly, you go into the constitutional framework. Okay, there you will get to know about the historical background. You will get to know about the making of the constitution, then about the characteristics of the constitution. Then you will have to read about the preamble. Okay, what are the key words that are in the preamble? Okay, and then you will get to know about fundamental rights, DPSP, that is directive principles of state policy, then fundamental duties. Okay, one more thing, say now this topic, fundamental duty, this is also a very vast topic, but try to grasp the topic in a very clever manner, in a very systematic manner. When you study about the fundamental duties, try to remember those 11 fundamental duties, but at the same time, uh, you will get to know that which committee recommended for the fundamental duties. This is like a background. This is like a background of the fundamental duties, that which committee recommended for fundamental duties. That is Swaran Singh committee, isn't it? So just to remember about the 11 fundamental duties will not help you. Okay, you try to remember the 11 fundamental duties, then try to remember that which are the committees that recommended that particular thing. Okay, then that the last fundamental right that was added later on, isn't it? So then you try to note about that. I think that was 86th Amendment Act, isn't it? 86th or 82nd. So that amendment, later added the 11th fundamental duty. I hope you are getting it. So try to um, try to grasp the topic in such a manner. গতিকে fundamental duties বুলি ক'লে just অকল 11টা fundamental duties you will memorize, that is not going to help you. সেই topic, particular topic to which committee introduced বা who introduced, try to note such points. Okay, then you memorize the fundamental duties, that is 11 fundamental duties, and the 11th fundamental duty was added by 82nd Amendment Act. Okay, and then regarding the amendment of the constitution, that which article provides for the amendment of the constitution, that is article 368, isn't it? And while see this thing, that amendment of the constitution, so here in this topic you need to know that how the constitution is amended. I mean, at a long answer you need not memorize. Okay, just try to look into the point that how the constitution is amended. That means what are the conditions, for the amendment of the constitution. There will be 2-3 conditions, isn't it? So try to note those things, that how the constitution is amended. Just in 2-3 points you try to remember, keep in mind, and which article provides for the amendment of the constitution. So that is enough for the topic of the amendment of the constitution. Okay, and then you will get to know about the basic structure of the constitution. And while studying about the basic structure, you need to keep in mind about some important points, such as which article, which case, under which case the basics, it was declared that the basic structure of the constitution can be amended, but not without changing the basic structure. Okay, so that was a very important article, that is article 368. Okay, see, we have more than 400 articles in our constitution, isn't it? You don't need to remember each and every one, and it's not possible also. But while going through the topics, you try to note those articles which are related to that very particular topic. Okay, I hope you're getting my point. This is article 368, isn't it? So what is the importance of this article? Isn't it? There are many articles. There are more than 400 articles in our constitution. So why 368 is important? Yes, isn't it? Because 368 is related to the to the to the constitution, that the constitution can be amended but without changing the basic structure. Okay, so while going through the topics, you try to remember those articles, try to note it down, those articles which are related to the particular topic. Then in the polity section, so this is about the constitutional framework which I have discussed about the historical background to tell the basic structure of the constitution. This was the constitutional framework. Okay, so then you go through the system of government. Okay, like the parliamentary system. Okay, like the center state relations, that while going through the center state relations, you will get to know, you will have to remember that which committee recommended for the center state relations, or which committee was formed for the center state relations, for the center states legislative relation, for the administrative relation, for the financial relation. Okay, so these are the things. Then um while studying about the system of government, uh, you will have to go through the central government. Okay, so what are the positions in our central government? ঠিক আছে? So after the constitutional framework, then you will have to go through the governance system. So in the central government, you will obviously have to go through president, okay, then vice president, then prime minister, then council of ministers, then parliament, and a few parliamentary committees. So when you will cover these things, you are sure that you have covered the central government part. Okay, and then the Supreme Court, and then the judicial review. So these things come under the central government part in the Indian polity paper, polity section. Okay, so obviously, while going through the central government part, you will study about president, his functions, and very important articles which are related to the president. For example, his power of pardon, isn't it? That is a very important one. And moreover, impeachment. Okay, impeachment of the president is another important topic when we study about president, his powers and functions, and his veto power. Okay, these are the some important points related to the president, isn't it? So, and there are some articles which are related to his impeachment, or um, related to his power to grant pardon, isn't it? Moreover, I would like to say that, while studying about the president of India, or the prime minister of India, or the vice president of India, you will, in many books, in many materials, you will go through a number of articles, a lot of articles, but you don't need to remember each and every one. Okay, you just try to note the important articles which are related. Suppose the article related to the impeachment of president, related to his power to grant pardon. Uh, these two articles are very important to the president. Okay, and regarding the vice president, I don't think that the articles you need to remember about the vice president also, because till now, while analyzing the question papers, I have not got any questions which are very which has touched this topic of vice president. But still, you try to study the topic in a very brief manner. So regarding the precedent, which I have said, that you will need to memorize, you will keep in mind about about 2 3 articles related to the president. But in case of vice president, you don't need to. Okay, you don't need to. So just try to understand about the you know election of the vice president, that how he is elected, or he is the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha, isn't it? Just 4 5 points. In 4 5 points you can understand about the vice president, I'm telling you. But regarding the president, this is a vast topic, so you will have to know about his election. And moreover, while studying about the election of the president, obviously you will go through the electoral college, isn't it? Obviously you will go through the electoral college. Then while studying about the electoral college, you don't need to study in a very vast manner. You just try to um, keep in mind that the electoral college is composed of what? Okay, who are the members? Okay, I mean, basically, in short, I'm trying to say that you will have to know about the composition of the electoral college. Okay, because the electoral college is related to the election of the president. So this is very much important. So you don't go into a very vast manner while studying about the electoral college. You will just have to know about the composition of the electoral college, then about the veto power of the president, about his powers and functions, isn't it? So this is the way that this is I have given you a comparison that regarding the vice president, you will have to know each and everything in a very deep manner. Okay, but regarding the president, but regarding the vice president, you need not go very deeply, you need not go to study that particular topic in a very vast manner. Okay, that will be a waste of time. Okay, so try to see the previous year questions and try to grasp the the very clever tips. And then regarding the prime minister, so regarding the prime minister, obviously um, you will have to remember about 2 3 articles related to the prime minister, like his appointment, or his council of ministers. That council of ministers are responsible to whom? To the prime minister or to the Lok Sabha? Because we all know that the Council of Ministers are undoubtedly appointed by the President of India, but on the recommendation of the PM, isn't it? And this very, you know, this very silly words, that who appoints and who recommends. Okay, you need to remember these things. These are very minute things, but still many candidates, in the examination hall, do various mistakes regarding the appointment and regarding the um, I mean, who elects or and who recommends, uh, and who appoints. Okay. Um, then after preparing the central government part, you will yes, there you will have to study about the Supreme Court, about the judicial review. Okay, about judicial activism. From these sections, not many questions come. Not many questions have come from this judicial review, judicial activism. But still, you have to know the concepts and the articles. Okay, or the origin that judicial review and judicial activism has been yeah, these things have been were originally in in USA. Okay, these two topics were originated in USA. Okay. uh, then after completing about the central government part, you will have to come to the state government part for your Indian polity paper. Okay, so in the state government paper, no, sorry, state government section, you will get to know about the governor. Okay, and same thing, you will have to know about the articles related to his appointment. Okay, uh, and I think you all know that his powers and functions are more or less similar to the president, isn't it? So while studying about the governor, you try to compare in among the powers and functions with the president, because there you will know that there are many powers and functions which are similar to the president of India. Okay, and then you will get to know about the chief minister. Okay, chief minister's powers and functions are more or less similar to the prime minister of India. Okay, so compare that try to compare regarding the powers and functions of the CM and the PM, and powers and functions of governor and the president of India. So you will definitely understand that more or less the powers and functions are same. Okay, then you will have to move to the state council of ministers. Okay, there there you will get that the powers and functions or the responsibility of the state council of ministers are more or less similar to the central council of ministers. Okay, so these are the easy ways to memorize or to learn the powers and functions of these important positions. Okay. um, then obviously in the central government part, you will study about the parliament, and in the state government part, you will get to know about the state legislature. Okay, here you will have to know about the composition, mostly. Okay. Organization of the legislature, you must know. Then the composition, then the duration of the houses. Okay. And then the comparison between the two houses, that what a comparison in the sense that you will face questions like that under sorry under okay, among the following conditions, uh, what are the areas where you know Lok Sabha has been given more power than Rajya Sabha. Okay, so while studying about parliament or while studying about state legislature, you will have to go through the powers and functions of both the houses, as well as you will have to make a comparative study of both the houses. Okay, because then you will get to know that under what areas or under what circumstances we can say that the upper the Lok Sabha is more powerful than the Rajya Sabha, or under what are the conditions under where Rajya Sabha has been given special powers. Okay, Rajya Sabha has been given special powers. So, while studying about the parliament, while studying about the state legislature, it's clear that you will have to know about the powers and functions of both the houses of parliament, as well as the conditions under which Lok Sabha is more powerful than Rajya Sabha, and on the other hand, other conditions which reflect that Rajya Sabha has been given special powers over Lok Sabha. Okay, and then in the state government part you will have to go through the high court also. Okay, so that is the judiciary part. And while studying about the two courts, try to make a comparative study that under which of the following jurisdictions. Okay, which of the following what are the various jurisdictions of both the courts, that is the Supreme Court and the High Court, or what are the areas that fall under those jurisdictions. Okay, for example, appellate jurisdiction, original jurisdiction, isn't it? Advisory jurisdiction. So when you were studying about the High Court, you will have to go through you will have to go through such jurisdictions. Okay, original, appellate, advisory. So while studying about the jurisdictions, try to remember 3-4 points from each jurisdiction, because there will be questions that, yeah, see the second question here. um, it was a repetitive question. It came in 1996 as well as in 2014 also. The power of the Supreme Court of India to decide disputes between the center and the state falls under its which jurisdiction? You see, so obviously you will have this question demands you to memorize or to learn or to keep in mind 3-4 points that fall under its jurisdiction. So suppose this, the power of the Supreme Court to decide dispute between the center and the state. Okay, so the answer is C. Under original jurisdiction, uh, the Supreme Court holds this power. Okay, so while going through the two courts, while studying about the two courts, Supreme Court and the High Court, you will go through these jurisdictions, and you will have to at least remember 3-4 points from each jurisdiction, from each section. Okay, because you don't know question will come from which area, from appellate or original or constitutional. Okay, and then after completing your state government part, then you move to the local government part. In the local government part, you will get to know about the Panchayati Raj, about the municipalities. Basically, these two topics fall under the local government part. So you see, at first we have discussed about the constitutional framework, isn't it? So while preparing for the Indian polity paper, you try to divide the paper into various sections. First, you try to complete the constitutional framework, then you go to the central government part, then you go to the state government part, then you go to the local government part, isn't it? So you see, you have almost covered most of the topics that fall under Indian polity paper, isn't it? Moreover, in the Indian polity paper, you will have to study about some constitutional bodies, not only constitutional bodies, but also non-constitutional bodies. For example, uh, Election Commission or UPSC. Okay, National Commission for Scheduled Tribes, Scheduled Caste. Then you will have to study about Niti Ayog, that was the planning commission, isn't it? Then the National Human Rights Commission. Then you will have to study about State Human Rights Commission, Central Information Commission. So you see, in the polity paper, you will have to go through some bodies. Those bodies may be constitutional and may not be constitutional. Some are statutory bodies, some are constitutional bodies. So here I would like to give you a suggestion that while starting to study about the bodies, the in the very firstly you try to know that that body is a constitutional body or statutory body. Constitutional body means it is established under the article of the constitution. Statutory body means it is established by an act, isn't it? So this is the basic difference. But do you know that there are many candidates who know very deeply about the powers and functions, about the articles, but they skip the very minute, the very silly thing that it is a constitutional body or statutory body or non-constitutional body. They skip these very minute things, and in the examination hall they get confused and even they can't answer. They know about the powers and functions. Okay, they know about the articles related to the body. They know about the historical background, that which committee or which article recommended that particular body. They know they know the topic very clearly, but they don't know the very basic thing that it is a constitutional body or statutory body. Okay, so they get confused. So while studying about the bodies, that is Election Commission, UPSC, Central Information Commission, Attorney General of India, uh, National Commission for STs, SCs, while going through these bodies, you try to remember that it's a constitutional body or statutory body. Then you try to remember the articles. Okay. Then you try to remember the committees that recommended those bodies. Then you go to the powers and functions of the bodies. Okay. Um, Here are some questions that I have collected. You see, the Government of India Act of 1919 clearly defined. This question came in 2015. Okay. The separation of power between the judiciary and legislature, the jurisdiction of the central and provincial governments, the powers of the Secretary of State for India, and the Viceroy, none of the above. So you see, uh, which I have already said, that try to uh, read the polity paper in a systematic matter, in a systematic manner. Here, when you will study about the historical background, about the constitutional framework, then obviously you will go through this X. Okay, so this question will be easy for you to answer. The Government of India Act of 1919, the answer is B. You may be asked about the Government of India Act 1935 also, isn't it? So this is a demo that, this is a demo to make you understand that how to prepare for the polity paper in a systematic manner, so that every topic has been touched by you in a very clever manner, isn't it? The next is, in the Constitution of India, promotion of international peace and security is included in. This question came in 2014. Preamble, DPSP, fundamental duties, ninth schedule. The answer is B, directive principles of state policy. Okay. In this question, I would like to suggest that try to memorize or learn the duties and the principles of directive principles of state policy in a proper manner. Because here I would like to say that under this DPSP, you will get to know about the Gandhian principles, about the socialistic principles, about the liberal intellectual principles. Okay, there are three principles under DPSP, and you will have to study those principles in a very proper manner, because sometimes candidates get confused regarding the principles of DPSP and the fundamental duties. Keep in mind, I'm telling you this. And such questions have come in another year also, which I have not written here. I have forgotten the year. But in 2014 it came. And in fact, in this national eligibility test, net examination, I think you have heard about this. So in such other competitive exams also, such questions usually come. Okay, regarding the DPSP and the fundamental duties, because more or less the principles are similar, are more or less similar. I'm not telling that exact in the exact manner, but more or less similar. So try to keep in mind about the principles as well as the fundamental duties in a very proper manner, so that you don't get confused that this line is under DPSP or under fundamental duties. Okay. Next is the power to increase the number of judges in the Supreme Court of India is vested in the President of India, the Parliament, the Chief Justice of India, the Law Commission. The answer is B. You say, while you will get these areas while studying about Supreme Court. In the Supreme Court, now at present, how many judges are there, including the Chief Justice of India? Obviously, you will go through that line. Then who appoints the judges, who removes the judges? So there you will get about this also, that mm, while collecting the fact that how many judges are there, including the Chief Justice of India in Supreme Court now. Obviously now it's 31. Uh, then you will have to remember about the strength of the Supreme Court. Okay, about the strength of the Supreme Court. Then there you will also get such things, that the power to increase the number of judges in the Supreme Court is vested in whom? Okay, that is the Parliament. So when you will touch the Supreme Court while preparing the central government section, you will get, obviously you will get these things. Okay. The ideal of welfare state in the Indian Constitution is enshrined in its preamble, DPSP, Fundamental Rights, 7th Schedule. Answer is DPSP. So when you will go through the DPSP topic, obviously you will have to go through those principles which I have just said, that Gandhian, socialistic, liberal, intellectual. While going through the principles, you will get these things, that this ideal of welfare state, and sometimes you may be asked, you may be given a principle. Okay, you may be given a particular principle, and you will be asked that under which category of DPSP this principle lies, and options will be given: socialistic, Gandhian, liberal, intellectual, none of the above. Okay, so you will have to memorize those principles. The next is, to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India is a provision made in 2015. The question is, preamble of the Constitution, directive principles of state policy, fundamental rights, fundamental duties. Answer is D, fundamental duty. Do you have noticed that we have come across this question, to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India is a provision made in the DPSP, fundamental rights, duties, preamble. Here the answer is duties. Okay, try to look at question number 4. More or less similar, isn't it? Here you were asked about this principle, that promotion of international peace and security is included in where? So answer is here DPSP, isn't it? And here you see, to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India is a provision made in the fundamental duties. We have just told you that you will have to remember the duty DPSP very, very systematically, very properly, because you will have to face such questions where you will get confused that this particular line falls under DPSP or fundamental duties. Okay. Which among the following is the custodian of the Constitution of India? The answer is the Supreme Court of India. We all know that the Supreme Court is the, supreme guardian, isn't it? So obviously, this question you will be able to answer while studying about the Supreme Court, isn't it? You see the question, which of the following special powers have been conferred on the Rajya Sabha by the Constitution of India? This question came in 2012. So You see the question here, you have been asked about the special powers. That means it is very clear that you will have to know about the special powers that have been given to that have been given to by the have been given to Rajya Sabha by the Constitution of India, which I have just said that there are some conditions, there are some circumstances where through which we can know that Lok Sabha is more powerful than Rajya Sabha, isn't it? So those conditions you will have to remember. On the other hand, there are some powers or there are some circumstances under which we can say that Rajya Sabha has been given special powers, isn't it? Which I have just said. So this question reflects that while going through the parliament section, you will have to know about the powers and functions of Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha and the conditions where Lok Sabha is more powerful than Rajya Sabha. On the other hand, the powers that have been given to Rajya Sabha, for which we can say that Rajya Sabha, no doubt, is not more powerful than Lok Sabha, but has been given some special powers which have not been conferred to Lok Sabha, isn't it? So here, to change the existing territory of a state and to change the name of a state. Number B, to pass a resolution empowering the parliament to make laws in the state list and to create one or more all India services, to amend the election procedure of the president and to determine the pension of the president after his/her retirement, to determine the functions of the election commission and to determine the number of election commissioners. So obviously you will have to remember very properly, you will have to memorize very deeply that whether the special powers that have been given to Rajya Sabha and not to Lok Sabha, only then you will be able to answer this question, isn't it? So seeing these questions, I am sure that now you were able to cover all the topics which are very much important for the polity paper. Okay, the polity, I have already said that the polity paper is a very vast one, and so to touch the most important topics, most important things, I would like to suggest you to divide the polity section so that every important topic has been touched by you. Okay, so I would like to stop the class